Welcome to my channel and C Programming for Absolute Beginners. In this video, I want to describe the structure of a C language program and highlight some of the concepts for a C program. Note that we are not going to talk about the details of all the syntax and so forth. We will do that in coming videos, but I want to describe at least some of the things that you can saw in any C language program. Just some of the highlights. So let's get started. First of all, open the Visual Studio Code and let me open an example program. So this is an example program that I will choose to explain the basic structure of a C language program. The first line of the program is a C directive. This tells the compiler that during the compilation you should investigate this file for symbols that are not defined within this program. In this program, we are using the printf function. This printf function is defined in the stdio.h file. We will talk about later in much more detail about these preprocessor directives in a C language program. The first thing that you should notice is this line 3, which is called main, and it has two parentheses. These two parentheses are signifying that it's a function. Now we don't know what a function is yet, but basically a function contains code inside it. It is important to note that main function is part of all C programs. It is the entry point to the program. This main function gets invoked when you run the program. So when you run the program, everything inside the main will be executed. So the main idea of the function to organize your code, as you can see for this main function, so this left curly bracket is showing the start of the function main, and this right curly bracket is showing the end of this function. So anything between this left and right curly brackets shows the block of code inside the function main. This is also known as the body of the main function. So this block of code is also called the body of the main function. And again, I want to reiterate, main is a special function in C that gets invoked when you run the program. So there should be at least one main in all C program and only one main. So let me run this program for you. These two instructions will be executed. The first instruction will print the hello world on the screen, and the second statement will return 0 when the execution is complete. So let's run the program by right click and select run code. So you can see in the terminal tab hello world is printed. So the next question is what this word mean that is written before the main function. It is read as int. It is called the return type of the function. It specifies what type of data a function can return. And we normally use this return type to represent whether or not there was an error in the program. So when you return 0, it means that there was no error in the program. So in case of error, you can return some non-zero number like 10. We can also set this return type to void, which means the function will return nothing. In this case, we don't need to return anything, and you can see if I run the program, it successfully runs and displays the hello world on the screen. So this keyword void in front of the function means that the main function does not return any data. You might get a compiler warning for that. So it is always good practice to use some kind of data type for that the function returns something, so that we are aware that our function is performing well. So let me set it to default value of 0, which means function is executing correctly. There is no error. Sometimes we can also write inside these parentheses void, means this function is taking no parameters. It is equivalent if we write no parameter inside. It doesn't make any difference. So we will talk more about these functions in our upcoming videos, but these were the some points that you must know in order to proceed writing some C language programs. One very important point that I want to highlight is that you have to pay attention to the details of a C language program. I mean it. Every little detail on a program can cause a problem or cause an error. For example, C language is a case-sensitive language. What it means by case-sensitive? It means in the C language programming, uppercase and lowercase have different meaning. For example, instead of writing this main with small m, let me change it to capital M. Now if I run the program, you can see the program will not run successfully. So this is giving me error that it doesn't find the main function that is part of every C language program. So it means the case sensitivity matters in C language programs, which means the uppercase and lowercase are different in C language. Let me return the main to the lowercase. Now let's say I change this printf statement with the P capital. Let me run the program and you will see. Now you can see it is showing that it does not identify the symbol printf with P is capital. So what we learn from these two mistakes, that C is case sensitive, and in C language program, uppercase and lowercase are two different things. The other thing that's important to know is that all the statements are ending in semicolon. So this is the syntax detail that you have to understand. So as you can notice, the line 5 and line 7 are the statements and both ending with the semicolon. It is C language syntax. So every instruction must end with a semicolon. So the line 1 is not the instruction, it is just specifying this library to be included in the program, and similarly the line 3 is not a statement, it is just mentioning the function main, and similarly line 4 and 5 are just representing the start and end of the function. So this program only includes these two instructions, and you can notice both instructions are ending with the semicolon. So this is one of the commonly made mistake in the C language program, that many programmers forget to add a semicolon at the end of an instruction. One last important thing to note for this program is that you can see a beautiful structure in this program. As you can see, there is an indent at line 5 and line 7. But remember, it does not matter where you start typing your line. You can take it to the start, or even you can put all the things on the same line. It doesn't matter. Even if I put all the code on the same line, it will still execute. Let me run the code. And you will notice it is showing the hello world. So it means in C language program, it doesn't matter how we put the code in the C file. But as you can observe, this formatting makes the reading the code difficult. So the idea of those intent is to make the code more readable. So the use of indentation spacing makes your code more readable. So that's the other takeaway for your first program. So that's all for this video. So in this video we discuss the role of the main function and function return type. We also discussed that every C language statement must end with a semicolon. We also see how formatting make the program easier to read. So that's all. Thank you for your time. See you next time. Bye.